What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I wanna go right into this game one for the Lakers and the Timberwolves, right? And the Timberwolves, the Timberwolves beat the Lakers. I think they beat them by like about 22 points, something like that. And I'm not surprised that the Lakers lost. I knew right away. I mean, even before it started, that the Timberwolves wasn't going to be an easy team. Even though the Timberwolves, even though they didn't have Carl Anthony Towns, they let him go or they traded Carl Anthony Towns. I knew they still was going to be, a tough team. Because the Timberwolves, they're young and they got Anthony Edwards, and so I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the difference for them. And so, but with the Lakers, man, like the Lakers defense, I think is going to be a problem for them throughout these playoffs. Even if they are fortunate enough to make it past Minnesota, their defense is just going to be is going to be a issue continuously. And I say that because you have three guys on the Lakers, three Lakers starters that really not really good at defense. Number one, you have LeBron James. He's not good at defense. And LeBron James, like what, 22 years in. So that's to be expected, that there was going to be some fall off. But the amount of fall off for LeBron James, I think, is just too. Some of it boils down to like will and want. Like certain plays he fall asleep on. Like if he playing defense, he'll lose focus, and his man will cut to the board, and next thing you know, his man is getting a layup, and LeBron, by the time LeBron realized that his man has cut, you know, um, it's over with. The player's over with. So his man is getting a layup. And those are the kind of plays that LeBron James made. Um, Luca and the kind of plays that Luca make that hurt them on defense is um, if Luca turn the ball over or if he go to the rim and Luca is expecting a foul, then what'll happen is Luca get fouled, it'll be turned over, and then Luca won't hustle back. So Luca, like he also has like mental lapses and stuff when it comes to the game. And what's the other guy? Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, I think out of those three, Austin Reeves is probably the best defender. Um, now he's a good team defender. On ball is where his weakness is, and so but that's a lot of guys around the league. On ball, their on ball defense is not as strong as their team defense. But in this game, it was just obvious that the Lakers, they played like they were playing like a regular season game. They you know, giving up too many easy looks to Anthony Edwards and his teammates. That like the defensive effort wasn't there. They didn't even really defend good against the 3-point shot. Across the board, they didn't really play any defense, and they looking old. While LeBron James is looking old. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be hard for the Lakers moving forward in these playoffs to, if they don't get things right on defense, like immediately, it's going to be hard. And defense is, like I said, it's about will and it's about want to. Nobody should be losing focus at this. You know what I mean? At this stage in the season, you should be like really pumped up and getting ready. And be ready, not getting ready. I'm sorry, you should be ready for the playoffs. And so, even during the press conference, LeBron said that sometimes it take a game to get ready, to like get your mind right for the playoffs. And I kind of would push back on that, especially that statement coming from somebody who's been in the league for 20 years. It's not good. And I remember hearing back like Michael Jordan was playing like during the off season or during preseason basketball, like they played a preseason basketball game. That game, those games in preseason that they played was like regular season games to the Chicago Bulls, right? And then when the Chicago Bulls got into regular season, the regular season games to them was like playoff games. They just amped it. They was like a level ahead. So if your regular season game, they treating their regular season games like playoff. Then when they get into the playoffs, they treating the playoffs like that's the championship already. So they are like they're a level ahead of everybody. And so by the time they get into the championships, they and I don't know what you call it, what they doing in the championship game, but that probably was the reason why even in the championships, like they never Mike and Scotty and the Chicago Bulls never had to play a game seven because their level of play was just that much, was higher than everybody else's level of play. Can you imagine playing what is it, 82 games regular season, 82 regular like playoff games doing they with that playoff intensity. And then when you get to the playoffs, you're playing with championship intensity. And looking back on it, that's what you saw when you saw New York and Chicago going at it in the playoffs. Those a lot of times people said those were the championships. And so by the time Mike got to Utah, or by the time he got to Portland or Phoenix, whoever they played in the championship, they had already they had already played their championship in the East against New York or maybe Indiana. And so, like I said, that statement coming from LeBron James that it may take a game to get into playoff mode after that to me, is a tell that that's something that you don't want to hear somebody being 20 years, over 20 years in the league saying something like that. And so, but all season long, these NBA pundits and the supposedly the guys who know the game was saying that, Lakers in 5 and Lakers gonna do this and Lakers gonna do that. But I think again, they never addressed the fact that LeBron James and them, LeBron James and his guys are weak on defense, and defense win championships. I don't know how the Lakers are gonna turn it around. Again, this is only game one. But how can you turn it around when you have two guys that don't give any effort, on defense? They tried to hide LeBron. What's the guy named JJ Redick? Had LeBron play some center, and so it's hard to hide him even at center because at one end, if LeBron James is playing center on offense, he don't have any low post game to speak of. And so it's just hard to hide LeBron when he refused to play defense at all. And so he's doing the same thing he's done throughout his career. He's looking for his teammates to carry him so he can reap the benefits and take the credit. I even heard people saying that again, Kendrick Perkins after the game said that somebody else is going to have to step up and help LeBron. This has been the theme throughout LeBron James's career. When, like, when is LeBron James going to step up and carry his team? You know, and so this loss to me was more so. Was it more so? And I want your opinion on this. Was it more so about what the Minnesota Timberwolves did, or was it about what the Lakers didn't? I'm sorry, excuse me. Was it more so about what the Lakers didn't do? You know, because Minnesota, like I said, they're not to me, they're not as strong as they were last year. It's still good, and because they still have Anthony Edwards, they still good. I like Gobert on defense. A couple of times when LeBron James tried to go to the basket, what I mean, he was there to protect the rim. And so Minnesota is who Minnesota is. But I think that if LeBron James and the Lakers will offer a little bit more resistance on defense, I think this series would have, I mean, I think that game would have been at least different. But it's gonna be tough, going forward for the Lakers if they just refuse to play defense. It's really gonna be tough. And man, what's I don't know what's gonna happen if if they mess around, if the Lakers mess around and get swept by Minnesota in the first round. Always again, it's never LeBron's fault. Which I like. I don't know. You know what though? I think that these people, the people who talk about the games, like ESPN and these different major networks, I think it's more. I think it's more entertaining if you just tell the truth about the games. If you just tell the truth about the situation that the Lakers are in, the truth about how the Lakers are playing, then I think that's more entertaining because then you give people the option of coming up with solutions. Don't, you know what I mean? Like they like don't sugarcoat things, don't make up lies and say that that somebody else is responsible when you know that it's LeBron James is responsible. Just tell the truth and just tell like what LeBron has to do, what Luca has to do in order for them to be successful, because those are the two main guys. How much do Austin Reeves and a guy Roy or Rudy has to contribute for the Lakers to be successful? Like that is, to me, that's more entertaining because it get people to thinking about, get people to thinking about, like I said, what the Lakers need to do in order to be successful. But not having, but not telling the truth causes people to push back and say, like what you're telling me about the Lakers is not true. I don't see that. You know what I mean? Like they like they saying about the Lakers, it's just not telling you what you're really seeing out there. And so I just think it makes them lose credibility in in my point of view. I think the Lakers not the Lakers lose credibility, but people like Kendrick Perkins and anybody, what's the guy named Shannon Sharp, when they don't tell the truth and keep it real about the Lakers, it makes those guys lose credibility. And you know, but I think it'll be more entertaining if they just came out with the truth and said, this is what the Lakers are. This is where their deficiencies are. This is what they need to do to correct these deficiencies. And then, you get people thinking and talking about it that way, and you'll have more credibility. But that's my take on it. It's only game one. I really don't think the Lakers are going to get swept, but I do think that they need to really shore up their defense if they want to make it through the playoffs and make it into the championship. But they just look old and tired. LeBron is old, Luca is tired, and so that it is what it is. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video.